5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess. Oh, it's a mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. It's a mess, sis. So, what exactly is a mess? A mess is a situation or a state of affairs that is confused or full of difficulties.
The mess is when things don't go the way you plan. It is when you have to go off script, improvise, ad lib, sit through the awkwardness, and breathe through the pain until you come out on the other side, because you will come out on the other side. It is everything that makes life interesting and transformative. It is what we are here to do. It is how we learn how to be.
So, join us as we dive into this week's mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's a Mess, Sis, my favorite podcast. I'm Jess, working through the mess, and I'm so glad you came back to hang out with us again.
Hey, I'm Rena, and I always get thrown off with these countdowns. Who am
That's
I?
funny.
Yes, I'm your other host. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna not say anything because they say when you don't know what to say nothing. I don't know.
And you're saying so much. That's crazy.
I'm gonna give you grace.
Thank you.
So that we can have ease.
Ooh, come on, grace, so we can have ease. That's hilarious. Okay, you guys are joining us for episode 74. It's in the Beginnniinnnnnnggggg. It's the Beginnniinnnnggg. Okay, really, it's the beginning. And we hope that you get the reference. If not, it's just for us. Anyway, before we dive into the episode, we are going to have a little segment called What's the Mess? So I'm going to ask Rena, what is your mess?
My mess. I'm gonna keep it short. I don't know. I just feel real apathetic towards just things right now.
Everything?
Yeah. Like I just feel like I'm just going through the motions. Like
Okay.
I don't know. It could be the fact that we have like the whole solar system in retrograde. I don't know. But I'm just kind of like, I'm just like there are good things that are happening.
And you're apathetic toward them?
I don't know. I'm just kind of apathetic towards everything right now. I'm just kind of like, we'll see how I feel tomorrow. It's just kind of like,
okay, that's just a today thing. It's not like it hasn't been a prolonged thing.
Define prolonged.
More than today.
It's probably been like the last couple of weeks.
Wow. Okay. Do you feel like that is a symptom of something else? I mean, I know the solar system's doing a thing, but also do you feel like that's, yeah, I think I've asked the question.
Yeah, you did. And I'm thinking about the answer. It could be, I think I am in this kind of limbo adjustment period.
Okay. Because the new job and all that.
Yeah. And then I kind of held on to the other job, which I was told to not do. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm gonna fuck around and found out. And I found out. And now I'm like, I think I'm waiting to leave this. I think once the good thing about it is I've done I feel like my last little things I need to do for that job. I just need to type up the notes. And then my goal is to have a conversation, be like, look, I know I said I would do this until October, but I cannot.
Yeah.
And then see how I feel. I think I'll be fine. I think I'm just in a waiting period. Maybe apathetic isn't the right word. I feel like I'm taking time to rest, observe, and kind of, I have to get a plan together. There's a lot of things I have to remedy. I've had some expenses pop up that I need to take care of. Mm-hmm. And, I'm adjusting to a new job. So there's just a lot of stuff that I just kind of have to wade through.
Okay.
So
maybe, you feel like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you feel like with the newness of everything that you're experiencing, it's like washing out the other emotions of other things? I know sometimes if I get overwhelmed with new feelings, it's hard to maybe balance out the other stuff I'm feeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to have no feelings. I'm not trying to get too excited for this job.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be too upset that I'm still obligated to the other one. Okay. I'm not trying to get upset about this money I got to pay back for saving my dog's life.
Oof.
And I think there's a lot of things so maybe it's not well, maybe it is. That's what it is. But we're just gonna see.
Okay. Well, check in though, because apathy is a sign of a lot of things. And so, I feel like it's good to acknowledge it, but also just be, on top of it if you could care about that. Just being
Yeah.
like, this is
No,
another 6 weeks where I don't give a fuck about nothing.
I don't think it's like I completely don't care. Just kind of like, I'm just like, I get what you're saying. I definitely
Yeah.
get what you're saying. And I'm kind
Yeah.
of observing that too and be like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get it. I get it.
Okay. Well, good.
But
I'm sorry to hear that you're apathetic, and
is
I do
apathy, is
hope.
that really like a
Well,
bad thing? Like,
apathy to. Well, I mean, I think when you said the way you worded it to say that it's about everything is concerning. Yeah, that sounds concerning. I mean, I'm no
yeah.
doctor and I can't diagnose anything, but to have apathy towards everything, I don't think anything as a everything is good. I don't know if that made sense, but like if everything is great, that seems a little off. Like maybe you're in mania or some shit, or everything is bad. Maybe you're, or you don't care about anything. Like when all of something feels a certain way, I feel like that that's a little concerning. But I don't know the apathy about some things are bad, but you know what I mean? That's the only concern is that it's across the board is what you were saying.
Now I'm trying to see if it's everything. Anyway, moving on.
We'll get back to that. Yeah.
So what about you? What's your mess?
My mess. So I'm rehearsing a new play.
Oh.
And yeah, the role is really interesting. I feel like I keep finding roles that are very similar to who I am as a person. And this one it's a really heavy piece actually. So it's about a group of guys in a halfway house, and my little brother's there, and I'm just like coming in trying to be this like caretaker human. She's also queer and picks up a random chick at a bar. I'm like, scared of me. So it's really interesting. It's like I discover more about myself in the art that I'm doing, which is very, I feel like that's probably very normal, but it's a experience that I'm like becoming conscious of, I think. And I was just like, that's wild because now I'm like really sitting in this role, and there's some things that I have wanted to say to other people who I've cared for. And she has two brothers also. I was like, that's fucking crazy. What? That's wild. But yeah, there's just some pieces of me that I'm able to exercise in this play. And it's really dope. It's also very tiring because I'm coming in at the last minute. They had to recast, and I know the director, and he asked me for a favor, and I was like, yo, I can't do the whole thing, but I can come and help. But I still have to do the rehearsal so that I'm ready for my weekend, So I'm in tech week this week. Last week I had 3 shows. I had a show Friday. Oh no, I had 3 shows and 2 rehearsals, or a bunch of rehearsals for another thing. I'm an improv as well. So I had a show Friday. We had a rehearsal that Tuesday. I have rehearsal tomorrow and a show Tuesday. Then I have to go back to tech week from 7 to 11. And today we're in rehearsal from 10 to 6. So it's like, life is just busy as well. So that's a little bit in there as well. But other than that, I also have had some new things transpire in my life that is very it was the inspiration for this. And so I'm gonna skip out of this mess and actually go to why
we're
we're
doing
doing
this.
this topic. Yeah. So I've had some recent ends and shifts happening in my life, and it got me to thinking about beginning again. And I just wanted to kind of discuss that and say, how do you, or what do you look forward to beginning again? What does that feel like? How all those things. So I put the topic to you, and why did you say yes?
Because I feel like, I have a lot of new things happening. So it resonated with me in this present moment.
Yeah.
And clearly I need to dig into my feelings about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it'd be a good time to process that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Thanks. I'm glad you said yes. So
I mean,
if
I
you can
didn't
let
really have a
you didn't have a
choice.
choice, you
I
know, you didn't.
didn't.
I
I
like to
didn't have
give
a.
the illusion of choice. It
Oh,
makes it
just like
easier for
everybody
people to
else.
swallow. I know. I'm
Yeah.
a normal human too. Sometimes if I choose to be. Um
What the
she said,
internet?
what the hell? um
I don't care.
there we go. There go to apathy. But will you let the people know the agenda for the episode?
Okay, so the agenda, as always, is to dig it down, which stands for define, impact, and cope. So this conversation, we're going to begin by defining beginning. That was redundant. What that means to us, how we go about it, what that means for us. And that kind of goes into the impact,
Mm-hmm.
like what does this look like? What has it been in the past? What does it mean now? And how
Mm-hmm.
we cope with beginning as we
Mm-hmm.
continue to exist.
Yeah.
We make each section clearly known so that you can follow along and have this conversation with us, with others, or with yourself. So feel free to pause where you see fit to give yourself time to write, journal, or just reflect, or you can just keep listening. Just do what feels right for you. And
Absolutely.
that is it. So we shall proceed to the definition.
Yes, thank you so much. We are now to the definition. And so I looked it up, of course,
Of
and
course you did.
beginning is defined as the point in time or space at which something starts. So that was very basic, very general.
I
You
love
know,
that. It's
it
just
was
like,
it was, I
yeah,
was
it's when you
it's
start.
when you start. I said, bet that makes sense. Yeah. So the whole point I think of this discussion for me is to discuss how we begin again after, right? Just
Starting over
after.
house.
Yeah. And I'm leaving that pretty vague because sometimes that means how am I going to start over after I fell out of working out? But other times it can mean how am I going to begin again after the death of someone I love?
Mm,
Or after my career path turned out to be the wrong choice. Starting
mm.
over is the hardest thing you can imagine, but then the actual steps can be even harder. So that's for me why I kind of wanted to like dive into this. And that's the definition portion for me. So, what about you?
So I pretty much said it is to take a step.
Okay.
That's what beginning is for me. And I feel like it has to be intentional, whether it
Okay.
be your intention or someone else's.
Uh-huh.
So I see it as the start of a journey,
Mm,
and it may look clunky and awkward because it's new and it's your first time doing it,
yeah.
but you're just beginning. So it implies that there should be some grace given.
Yeah. It
Should
should be.
be,
Should be. That should is
should,
the operative word. Come on,
right.
should. Yeah. Ooh, okay. So
Felt that. You said,
yeah, listen, should
ooh.
be some grace. Sometimes okay, well, we'll get into it. But we're to the impact now. All right.
Yeah, we just to the point, just like
To the
Google.
point. To the point.
Like
Straight to the
just
point.
begin already.
Begin, start. Go ahead and do it. Okay. So sometimes starting over is out of your control,
Gotcha.
right? And I think about having to live a life without my mom on this physical realm, right?
Mm,
I had to start life over as that being the norm for me.
mm-hmm.
And that was really a very traumatic experience. Um, and I think the first step was like accepting my reality because initially there were moments that I pretended that my mom was in the city where we lived. So I was away at college. So it really made me feel better to think that she was there. And for whatever reason, we just like weren't in touch.
Yeah.
It was a very, it
No, I
wasn't
get
like
it.
a full reality. And of course, I knew my mom was not here, but I just kind of lived in this space. And I think I did that for years, honestly. I think it was when I moved from college and had this, and it was a beginning because I was moving to a new state and into a new, this is my first apartment as a grown up. I could no longer pretend that. So I was forced into beginning a new reality. Like, your mom is not here to do these things. She's not here to come help you set up. She's not here to give you furniture because she would have been like, oh, I don't need this chair, or whatever. She wasn't like super rich, but she would always give me things to make where I am feel like home. Like, I remember going to college and she had this portable hair dryer, and it was really the only dryer she had, and she just left it for me, and she's just like, okay, you have all the things. And she was just that type of person. So coming into a new beginning in a new space, in a new state, was like, it was like I jolted to the beginning, and like it was very difficult because I hadn't accepted the reality. So I do think the first step of beginning again is kind of accepting that this is starting anew, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think because I did that, I did say that already. It kind of hindered me from like moving forward. That just not acceptance. So once I processed that, the beginning still felt like walking in quicksand. Once I accepted that reality, like I'm slowly sinking while trying to move forward. It's exhausting work. You know what I mean? You are moving forward, but it's a slow go of it, And oftentimes when I'm starting over in other areas in my life, like it feels that way again. Just the amount of energy it takes to not give up. To say, okay, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? That prep, that energy, that acceptance of the reality that this is new. This is your life now. Like, yes, it was that. It's no longer that. We have to process that in a whole different area of your brain, the letting go and all of that. But while we're doing that, you've still got to move forward. And so, yeah, sometimes it feels, or it has felt, and no, I'm not even going to say it has felt. It still feels sometimes when I have to do these new beginnings, especially when they're outside of my control. I think that's the main thing for me. When it's outside of my control and it's not something that I've prepped. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to say.
Prepared for
and prepped.
and prepared.
Prepared and prepped. Is that something I prepped for? No, that doesn't work. It's nothing I prepared for. It can still feel the same way. Now, there's a lot of new beginnings that, I'm like excited about. I've geared myself up. I've already prepared myself for what that's going to look like. But things that are sudden that causes you to need a new beginning, a new start, a change in direction sometimes, that shit is hard. It's very difficult.
I feel like,
I'm
sorry.
But no.
I feel like even sometimes when you're prepped
come on for prep.
When you're prepared, like there's things that you can't foresee even about yourself. I feel like I come across that issue where I'm like, I have a plan. And when I have a plan, I'm ready to execute. And then I execute that plan and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This feels horrible. Now the plan is still there. Like I can still do this. It's like I have to maintain myself in it. And if you don't account for the fact that, hey, it may not vibe with you energetically, that can throw you off. And then all of a sudden you're in a new beginning that you didn't anticipate because this is not according to the plan. Me being emotionally scarred by this experience is not a part of the plan. The plan was for me to be happy. Doing this for X amount of time, X amount of years, forever.
Come on, forever.
And then it's like, right.
Do you feel okay? So sorry, go ahead. We'll ask questions after your impact.
No, ask a question because I jumped in and cut you off. So now we're in a conversation. No. So let's go.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you feel like we as human beings always had a hope for forever? Because I feel like where I'm going with this is that like when we were hunter-gatherers, right? You just gather what you can that day. I don't think you're looking forward to the future much. You just like, bitch, let's eat tomorrow. We'll gather this shit. Maybe we'll, whatever type shit. And I'm just thinking of like even the fairy tales or the movies that we have. There's this element of foreverness, whether it be you get a job that you love. I'm thinking of when we were growing up. Now it's a little bit different. People have like a fuck that job sort of mentality generally. But when we were growing up, it was like, grow up, go to college, get a job you can spend 40 years at. I mean, and 40 years is not forever, but it's a very long time. And you feel like you're going to go on hunker down roots and this is going to be what it is. And that was kind of what we were preached or taught, and like, I'm just curious, is that like a human thing or is it just a right now in time thing that we have this always or forever type of hope for things? And is that detrimental? Is that healthy? Is that normal to want things always?
I don't think forever exists.
Okay.
I mean, I know it doesn't. Like we're not going to live forever
in this body.
And in this body, yes. I feel like we're always constantly changing. Even right now, my cells are changing.
Right.
And I feel like that's how we evolve. That's how we grow. And I don't know, somewhere in the timeline, we've decided that, to stick it out. And I don't know if we got scared of change or if us being fearful of change is profitable. Everything I bring everything back to money. So I'm like, you staying at this job forever, it's great for the business owner because they can count on you to have this knowledge, to not go anywhere, to train all these new people. We have leverage. We're not losing people. But then also you don't have the time or the desire to go out there and seek something else. So, they make it really easy for you to stay at that job for 40 years. And with every change, with every cycle, like you said, it's painful. The birth, the beginning is painful, and the end, the release is painful. And I feel like I'm coming to this understanding that the more accepting, and I like that you said that in the beginning, the more we kind of accept that things change, I think the better off we'll be.
Right.
Somehow our perspective towards change shifted to, oh my gosh, because there are many deaths. That's what it is. So many deaths.
It is.
And we have several cycles of death in our life, or birth and death.
Yeah.
And I guess it's that unknown that we're afraid of. So I don't think it serves us. Yeah, it's scary, but I don't think it serves us to try to stay. And I feel like
serve us to stay. That's crazy.
It doesn't serve us to stay. I don't want to live forever, and I feel like that's where these people are headed. Oh, let's find the tree of life. Let's live forever. I don't want to live forever. I want to be down here with y'all forever, just not growing, not doing nothing new.
What if the tree of life actually came with like a different type of like life?
That's cool, but we're still gonna have to release the one we're in. And you don't know what the hell you're getting on the other side.
Oh, that's real shit. Real shit.
Get used to releasing now.
Yeah.
Releasing and accepting, or accepting and releasing, whichever feels best for you.
Better for you. Yeah. Okay, what's your impact?
My impact is that I often get stuck at the beginning. My impact is that I talk a good game, but I don't play it well.
Come on, I talk big shit.
Yeah, I feel like I am constantly like stuck at the beginning and wondering why, like where I've gotten caught up.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to intention, like I mentioned in the beginning. Like I feel like a lot of things I've started was because somebody else had an intention for me, or somebody else brought it to my attention and said, oh, this will be good for you. Or I observed other people doing things. I'm like, they look happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that. Yeah. And then I go and I try it and I create this plan because I plan. Right. And I'm like, wait a minute, they like this? This is terrible. Like,
that's fucking hilarious.
Being at work and somebody told me, yeah, this is my dream job. And I got so upset. I completely like changed my whole view of this person. I was like, she's simple.
She's simple.
But there was nothing wrong with her. This is her dream. It's just not mine.
Right.
And then I had to release it.
That's fucking hilarious. That's fucked up and hilarious.
It is. But I would get so mad, and I would get mad at people because I'm like, you said I would like this.
Oh, wow. And like, you better than they do.
And that's a problem. Like, I was avoiding really trying to start for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm in this place now where I'm just beginning, because I've just I think I was scared and hiding in the shadows of myself for a long time.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, okay, body, you go out there and do what these people say. Yeah. And if once you find happiness, then I peek
then
out.
Then I'll come out.
Be like, okay, yeah, we made it,
That's funny.
And now I realize, like, by being present, I feel like I've been more present over the past years as myself, and going through the beginnings and the endings of things, which I avoided, like the play.
Yeah.
I'm realizing, oh, okay. Like, every time something begins and ends, you learn something about yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's so true.
Now let's start to incorporate some intention. A lot of the stuff that was put up or set up for you wasn't really you. Like, you did the best with what you had.
Yeah, of course.
But now you know a little more. So now you can make a decision for yourself, and let's go see what that looks like. So that's where I am. I feel like I am at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always been at the beginning, but before it was more like, I don't even want to start this. But now it's kind of
Yeah.
like, you know what, let's just go out there and do something, because staying back here,
It's not gonna work.
it's not going to work. It's not serving you.
Right. So a lot of these things are about just actually making the choice to begin. It's
Yes.
not staying feeling stuck in something that maybe doesn't fit you or
Yes.
it doesn't, it no longer serves you. Maybe it did fit you, but now it doesn't. And you have to let it
Yeah.
go. And if you intentionally start, maybe it's not as heavy or not as I mean, it will still be a newness. And I
Yeah.
think with newness comes like, so like you said, with every birth, there's even a little discomfort.
Right. A
Maybe it's
lot.
not so painful as you being forced into something new, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like you can either choose to start, or you're going to be
Or
put
push to
forced to
start.
start. Push to start.
Come on, push to start. I think I can see that. I've pushed a lot of people.
Dang. What you do?
Well,
We ain't gonna get into
because
it. Get into it.
no. It's just that I think that, growing up, this is something that has been my journey as far as just my growth of seeing that I don't know everything for everyone. What is good for
Oh,
me
you just you
is
just
not.
figured that out.
Relax. I didn't say just. I said this has been a part of my journey. Relax, Rena.
Okay.
Relax. See,
I'm
it's
chill.
it's no, you're not.
I was gonna start, but I stopped.
And now in the beninging, listen,
I'm
I'm not
listening.
gonna play with you. No, I think I would push people, right?
Mhm.
In ways that I felt was motivating. Like, you can do this. And it probably felt like you should do this to them. But in my head, I'm thinking, you can do this. Let's go. Let me push you. I remember pushing someone I love to go to school,
Mm.
college. I was like, listen, you can just
Oof.
have this, this will help you, blah, blah. He got there and he was so frustrated because he didn't have everything he needed. And it just wasn't his choice to begin that. So everything
Mm.
felt very difficult for him to try to push through and do. And I'm like, I literally was a biology major with no books my freshman year. I don't care. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, you can get past, like, this is nothing.
You had a
But it was
purpose
nothing
though.
to me because I chose that. That was my
Right.
beginning that I started because I wanted to. So having a beginning that you didn't choose, it's gonna feel harder. It's gonna feel like walking through mud and like, damn, I don't have this. And it's a lot more difficult if it's not the start that you chose.
Right.
And so that's growing up saying, let me take a back seat on other people's lives, first of all. Secondly, let me take a front seat on my own life and
That
start to
part.
choose these things for myself. And so, yeah, it's been a journey and it still is. I have, like I said at the beginning, I have a lot of stuff that's like new or like it's just giving me a new perspective of life. And I'm just
Ooh.
like, okay, this is a beginning. We're doing this. Like, let's go, type shit. And it's not without its uncomfortability, but it certainly doesn't feel like I'm walking through mud.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But
There's
there
no
is some
resistance.
there's no resistance because, it's a good start.
So is that
But
like
it's
a
just a
good
start.
measure? Like, if you start something, and because that's my issue
Hmm.
too. As part of my impact. Like, I start shit all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll start things that I want to start, and then it'll feel hard. Like, I'll feel
Oh,
resistance. And then I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this shit.
okay.
Or maybe, I feel like I'm slow, like it's not meant to be. And so,
Okay.
like,
Oh.
so how do you like differentiate between, like, oh, it's just taking some time and you
Hmm.
just got to keep going, and oh, you're experiencing resistance and this probably isn't for you. Like,
Ooh, that's hard. I don't know. I think you have to see your intentions. Like, for
I
me, is the intention
yeah, you're
forceful?
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is the intention forceful? Like, I'm gonna force this to be good, and so it's taking its time, and it's tumultuous because I'm starting again no matter what. And this is like, is it a forceful thing, or is it like, no, I have to start over? And I recognize that this is what I want to do. It is hard, but I'm just trucking along type shit. I feel like it's the intention behind the beginning,
Right. I think,
right?
yeah, no, I agree. Listen,
Yeah.
just kind of thinking about the things I've started. Like I've wanted to play guitar since I was like 8 years old. And it
Uh-huh.
took me like 8 years to really get a guitar. Then I got
Uh-huh.
the guitar, like I played a little bit and like it was cool. And then it's like I just couldn't progress beyond that, probably because I needed to push myself.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not as good as these kids who've had guitars since they were 4 and 5. And
Right.
like, just screw this. So, your guitar sits for a few years and then you come
Yeah.
back to it. So it's this constant thing of coming back. And I don't know what it was supposed to be for me.
The guitar.
Yeah. I think
Uh-huh.
I thought like, you have fantasies in your head. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, do I want to be a touring guitarist? Like, what do I
Right.
want?
Right.
And not to mention me going to college and saying, let me just take like an intro to music class. Let me just learn how to read music and it almost tanking my GPA.
Oh
I was like, and I'm like,
no.
I have studied harder at this than like all my other courses. I have enlisted people to help me understand. And
Oh,
I think I
wow.
maybe got like a B or a C in like some basic, like I'm illiterate in reading music. Like I can't read music at all. And I'm like, this don't make no damn sense. Why is there so much math and music? Like, why are you talking about
I
half
mean,
notes, quarter notes, all that?
it's
It's too
literally
much.
math.
What's
Yeah.
up with the fractions? Like, it's like everything that like I did not enjoy.
Yeah.
I thought this was reading. I can read. I
That's
can't read
fucking
this.
hilarious.
So I think I've gotten so frustrated over the years, but now I've picked it back up in the last couple of years and I've had some progress. And I think it's because I'm like, I ain't trying to go on tour with this. I'm not trying to make
Yeah.
money off of this. Like, I literally just want to
Do it
get
for fun.
better and do it for fun.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think the intention and the purpose of it, having an idea of what that is, really can change what that beginning and that continuation
Mm-hmm.
looks like. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
really eye-opening. It's like, what is your intention? What is the purpose of you beginning this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, don't. Like
Otherwise,
if you're
don't.
doing it because, oh, my mom said this is a good idea, okay. Your mom could say it's a good idea, and you could also feel like it's a good idea. Well, it's like, damn, really go after that then. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
just one person outside of yourself saying it's a
Mm-hmm.
good idea,
Really
so
think about it.
right. But when you choose it though, that's my question. When you choose it for yourself,
Yeah.
and you
And it's
go
still
into it and
hard.
you're coming up with resistance and it's hard and you're
What do you mean by
trying,
resistance, though?
it's hard. That's what I mean by
Oh
resistance.
my God. No, I
Like,
mean, I think we have to get in the understanding that we do crave ease. And I understand that. But just because something is difficult doesn't mean that it's, null and void. We do have to find different markers. And I feel like so for me,
are those markers?
I think
Yeah.
about people who are out here pursuing acting, right? It
Uh-huh.
is their passion. But when I tell you this shit is hard work, like it's hard work, especially those of us who are not financially independent, right? You know what I'm saying? We still have to go to work and like work hard. And LA is not a cheap city by any means or stretch of the imagination, right? So you're having to work to sustain yourself, but then you have auditions that you have to do that you're constantly being rejected from continuously. This is just the cyclical way that it is. It's difficult. It's a slow process. And the amount of people that have like that known success, there are a lot of people who work here who are very comfortable because they do things and you would never know their name. But a lot of people do come for the name. So if that is the level of achievement that you desire, of course that's actually your passion. You really want to do it. Is it going to be easy? No, this is not an easy path that you have chosen, but it is your path. It is what you want to do. I think it's becoming aware of what it actually means to start your journey, right? To
Mm.
begin your journey. If these are journeys that you're choosing, like if I want to go be a chemical engineer, that is not easy.
Mm.
it's still my desire. I'm going to go and I'm going to struggle through it because it is my desire. So no, I'm not going to go in there and probably be like, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Yeah, I'm a chemical engineer. Like, no, some of this shit is difficult just in nature, but that doesn't mean that it isn't for you. So you have to figure out what the struggle is. Is it an internal struggle of like, I really don't want to do this, and I'm not really starting because I want to, versus starting because you want to, and the actual process just being a difficult process, and you just taking yourself out of this notion that everything has to be with ease. There should be ease of consciousness though. It shouldn't be, I don't think it should be a struggle of like, do I really want to do this? Is it hard to do? Sure. I want to do this with all of that I have, and I'm giving it everything that I can to do it. So for
you should
me,
have peace of
oh, go
mind
ahead.
with it.
I think you should have peace of mind. I don't think the
Oh.
actual steps have to be easy.
But
I
what
think
about
peace
like
of mind about it.
self-doubt and things like that? Like,
And you work through that,
but you won't
right?
have peace of mind.
Okay.
Like, I
But I
mean,
think,
there's some people who are like super confident. So if you're super confident in what you want to do, yeah, go after it. But what if you're not super confident? What if you kind of, you're grappling with things emotionally? Like, I guess, that can distort how you feel
yeah,
about what
doing
you're doing.
that. I see that. I think
Or
that
is
one's a
that an
difficult one.
indicator of maybe this isn't what you should be doing? I don't know. Like when you
I
throw
don't
mental health
know.
into it
Because that's what I
and
was gonna say.
trauma,
That's a whole different thing that you have to process. That's not a, I don't really want to do this. That's a, oh, can I do this? That's a whole different question of like, I don't really, if somebody said like, I think about, this is what I think about when I think about like tech and things like that. I think about going into tech because of financial reasons. It's not something
yeah,
that I
everybody,
really, of course, it's not something that I want to do. It would be a struggle. I could do it. I'm smart enough, but it would
yeah.
be like especially if it gets hard or when it gets hard, because tech is not necessarily that easy. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of mental fortitude and brain power to do some of the like coding and all that stuff. I've gotten into coding and stuff, but I didn't stick it out because it's not really my passion. I'm doing it because I want to be financially free. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I had doubt about could I do it, that's a different thing than should I do it.
Mm.
I don't know that I really want to do this. It's different than, oh man, I'm nervous. I want to do this, but am I good enough? I think everybody has the
Mm.
am I good enough question. And I think that's something that you actually do have to work through. But I don't
Mm.
think that's the same as I don't really want to do this. That's a
Okay.
different whole ball game of what you're processing. I don't want to do this. And can I do this? Those are two different things,
No, I agree.
you
I
know?
agree. Can I do
So
this and do I want to?
yeah.
What do you
'Cause,
want to do? Do you
yeah.
want to begin this? Okay.
Do
I
you
got it.
want to begin this? I mean, because self-doubt is a bitch,
Yeah.
you know, and I think we all have experienced it in one way or the other. And
Mm.
that's something that you have to work through, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's a whole I think the indicator for me that the beginning is not is the I don't even really want to do this. When I think about finances and all that shit, that be it for me. I
Yeah.
don't want to give a fuck. I really don't. I want to just be rich already. I don't have to fucking think about it. I really, it is really not something that I care about, like innately, because I
Mm.
have intellect and I live in this world and I'm choosing to still be a part of the society. I do, but that's always hard. That's the beginning for me. That's very difficult when it comes to like financial shit or like, okay, let me try to get into trading or let me try, something, all the things they tell you to do. That's hard for me because I don't care
So you
for
have to
real.
have care. So intention, desire, and genuine like interest.
I think,
And that you need to have a purpose for it.
yeah. So the
Like,
hardness, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so yes, like so despite the difficulty of what you're doing, it's the anticipation of what it can add to your life.
Despite the what? Anticipation of what you're
Despite the
doing.
difficulty of like
The
what you're doing
difficulty.
and trying to accomplish,
Uh-huh.
like what you hope to gain from it has to override that essentially.
I can agree with that.
Like I feel like for you, like you're going after your dream. You know, you want to entertain, you want to fill up your time doing things that you genuinely enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that lights you up.
Right.
And therefore, you know, reflects and lights up other people.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever, however difficult it is, however that whatever level of stability you have or don't have,
yeah, it's
just
worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not even the money you're not even trying to do it for the money. And I think that's what's really fucked me up.
Yeah, money.
As a kid. Yeah, just this idea of you need to make money, you need to take care of yourself. It's not really about you, about the joy. Like, in fact, they tell us you're not supposed to like your job. So I'm like, well, why would I want to do something that I do not like? It's like, because you want money. It's like, yeah, I want money, but like, I don't like, it's not like money is my passion.
Right.
Like I want money so that I can go do other things.
Yeah.
That's probably more in alignment with what I want to do. It's right. Like a segue. It's a means to get to something else. It's a bridge, but it's a tool, but it's not the end all be all. So okay. Yeah. I'm just wow. Okay, so that's the beginning. You have you kind of almost have to block out the money piece.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of
I know you're like, that's obvious.
I mean, for
not to me.
But, I mean, I understand, and I think too because we grew up in different socio and economic statuses as well. So I have been really poor at some points in my life, and the fact that there were a lot of happy moments there that did not come from money is just this understanding innately that I have that money doesn't create the happiness, you know? Now, I did work my ass off and have an issue with never wanting to be that poor again. And so I've done things that were damaging and overworked myself to try to be into this financial place. But again, it's because I don't really care about money. Like, I don't really care. Like, I know that my happiness is not dependent on that, but my stability is. And so I did all these, you know, unbalanced things to try to reconcile that. But innately, I know that I can be really okay with very little shit. Very little. So I think you grew up in a different place where, you know, your life looked a certain way because of the money that you got, that your mom did have, and that, you know, your life just looked differently. And I think that's you know, something to reconcile.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm dealing with that. But
yeah.
Because, you know, I was going to ask a question like, what do you do?
With what?
When, well, I'm still asking.
She said, let me ask you, bitch. Okay, go ahead. I did jump the gun.
Like, what do you do when you're put against something that is easy for you to do and it also comes with money? And doing something that you want to do, you're passionate about, and there is no promise of money. like I feel like that's a situation that I'm in. Like what I'm currently doing, like it's like I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And I can scale it up and I can get the money and I can do it. However, like I don't really want to do it, or I don't want to do it as often as I'm doing it.
Right.
And I feel like I'm ready to move on. Oh, really? But then move on to what? Well, not specific.
Oh my
God, no, just for some background, I did start this job on the 6th of September, and we're recording on the 25th. But I'm not talking about specifically move on like from this job.
Just that kind of job.
But just move on from this industry.
Got you.
And then begin anew. But
I mean, at some point,
what? Like when I've been good at something for so long.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I maybe I'm just like delusional, and maybe what I am doing is what I should be doing, because I sound confused.
I see.
And that's not a good sign.
Too. Wow. What are we talking about? Okay. Because here's the thing. If What is it that you want to do?
I want to not work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
Okay, so it's not about
At this point, it's not even about the
anything.
specific task.
It's just the amount of time. You don't care what you're doing.
I mean, I don't want to be like
What do
pimping
you want
hoes or
to
something
do?
like that.
See,
But
this is the situation, Rena. We were talking about this beginning being what you want, and you've not defined that. You've said what you don't want. You told me this in another episode, or when we talked before, saying all the things that you don't want is not going to get you what you want. You need to articulate in your mind what you want. You need to see it. You need to visualize it and then go after that.
I want to explore. That's really what it is.
Okay.
Like when I think about what I want to do, if I were to if I were to, get what I want and not work these hours, what would I do with it?
Yeah.
I would probably just travel and explore and fall into something and just, go around to different friends' homes, like, hey, big head, got a couch I can sleep on.
Oh, fucking week. Come on, couch surfing. That's so dope.
Yeah, and just kind of see what pops up for me. Like it could be like I enjoy journaling, just like my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to stay focused on what I want.
Okay.
I do enjoy playing the guitar for me. I enjoy watching movies, things like that. I enjoy being home. Like I would probably be home or be on a plane somewhere, traveling somewhere, and sitting in somebody else's home. Like
okay. I mean, all of those things, especially combined, could probably make you money eventually. There are bloggers. You are a Black girl on the precipice of things that white people have been doing, but Black people haven't. If you could tap into that market and be like, I'm a wanderer, I'm a meanderer. I go around to my friend's house, I play the guitar on the boardwalk for some change, for some pence. I don't have a lot of shit.
Not on the boardwalk.
I'm just
for some change.
What? Be realistic. You're not that good at the guitar. So you just you will get better eventually.
This is support. I just want everybody to hear.
This is real shit. Like we have to be honest with ourselves. If that's what you want, you can do it. Are you going to be able to buy the shoes like you buy them? Probably not immediately. Are you going to be able to live the kind of same life that you're living? Maybe not. But like at what point does that the actuality of what you want become greater than the shit that you have or the life that you're still living? Like at some point the beginning does have to be the death of something else, and you said that earlier. You already know that intellectually. So it has to be, you say this frequently to me, you want to be a wanderer. Fucking wander. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know that it's difficult because as adult orphans, sometimes we feel very like, I'll speak for myself. It feels very like no support.
Yeah, I don't have a safety net.
But like, you do. You have friends and family, and maybe more friends that have become family. We'll say that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've offered you my couch a billion times. You hear it and then you don't. But I'm never being. I know, but you don't really. And
how do you know? How you gonna tell me what I hear?
You're right. I can't tell you, but what it appears is that it doesn't feel like a safety net for you. And I've told you frequently that if you need somewhere to go, you have somewhere to go. If I have somewhere to go, you have somewhere to go. This is what I'm saying to you. And it still doesn't feel like a safety net to you. So at this point, you have to reevaluate what that looks like. You probably have other people in your life who've offered you these things. So if you want to start couch surfing, start couch surfing. Do it for 6 months. So I don't like it no more, or I do, and I found out this about my life or whatever. Like at some point you have to take the leap to the beginning the beginning that you actually want. You keep beginning again as shit that you are good at.
Right.
But you're not happy at. See that part? See,
they all be one.
They can if you do what the fuck you're supposed to do, which
what
is
the fuck is that?
Follow the shit you keep saying.
So it's hard to envision being homeless being the way to success.
Tyler Perry, Taraji B. Henson, Tiffany Haddish. Oh my God. There's so, okay, maybe I shouldn't bring her up, but there's so many people who've been homeless and now they're billionaires. I don't think that was the right wording for you. There's a lot of homelessness that has led people to be free of all the other shit so they could actually create the life that they wanted. I mean, literally, we could just say Tyler Perry. My nigga was sleeping in his car. And it wasn't like a cute homeless like they do now. Like, oh, I fixed my car up.
Not
But
a cute
like,
homeless.
You know?
Right.
So I'm just saying.
I mean, you're right. And I think that is something that I acknowledge. And it is something that I have considered. And especially the release of certain things, because that's what it is. And that's what I just said, you know, to begin, usually there's a death. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult. And it's difficult to choose when to begin. Because it's easy to say, okay, I'll begin.
That's real shit.
Yeah, it's easy to say, I'll begin in a year. You know, I'll begin in 6 months. And I've told myself 6 months. I'm going to give myself 6 months, right? And then kind of do like a step down. Like see if I could travel or something like that. We'll see. But it's hard. It's hard to decipher when to begin. Yeah. Like what that looks like. Because you get jaded over the years of living. And when I was younger, say if I were 19, I would do this no problem because I don't know any better. Yeah. I don't know what it means to have health insurance that I pay for. Right. I don't know what it means to, how do I get an apartment if I decide couch surfing ain't for me and all these friends ain't my friends? Not saying that would happen, but you know. Damn.
I'm just playing, but I feel you though.
But you know, it's like, well, now I have a big gap in employment. I don't have a security deposit because I lived off of it. And where am I going to live? Like I start to think of things like that, which I also acknowledge in my impact that it's part of my problem that I be going too far with it. So, okay, stay in the now, talk myself through it.
Yeah, just stay at the start line. You know, you're trying to be at the finish line before you even begin.
I'm trying to see the finish line, see how it's going to take. I try to see all the obstacles that I have to circumvent before I go.
And so in the meantime, people are starting to race and they've come to the first obstacle and they're dealing with it. And then they've come to the third obstacle and they're dealt with it. And now they're sitting and they're like, fuck, I didn't expect this fourth obstacle, but I guess I'll have to figure it out because that's what we do in life. We figure shit out. We just do it, you know, but if you're just doing shit because you have to versus this is what I want. I think about the shit that I experience out here. I'm having to I have to find a new place soon. There's a lot of shit there's a lot of obstacles. We talk about it often outside of the podcast of the shit that I deal with living here. You know, I was newly single. I had never been a single adult taking care of bills. That was unheard of. You know, unheard of. Me taking care of my own bills. Yikes. So it's like you get to the obstacle and you deal with it. You figure it out. You are an intelligent human being. Give yourself that credit that what it is, I'll figure it out.
Sometimes I wish I wasn't so intelligent. Sometimes
I feel that.
You know, real shit. I feel like, I'm too intelligent to willingly do this. Like I know how this could work out. Yeah. And I guess I have to be more foolish.
Sometimes.
And being foolish doesn't make it, it's not a bad thing. It's just saying, okay, I see the risk, I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll just be an explorer and a wanderer. I'm just keep my phone on.
Period. Yeah. And the way of the world actually right now is so easy to go and pick up some things. So it's like you can go and do a DoorDash and okay, I did that for the weekend and now I'm back on the couch. I'm on the boardwalk playing or whatever it is. I know that's I just
boardwalk.
It's in my head now and I could just see you and I come throw some coins in your guitar bag. It's just
I'm gonna need dollars though.
I got some dollars.
Okay. Not in quarters. But yeah, you know what? Go ahead.
Beggars can be choosers.
I'll take the quarters.
The quarters
I'll
take the quarters.
See, that's my problem. Take the quarters.
See, exactly. Pick them quarters up. That'll be $35 in quarters, and you trying to say no quarters. But yeah, I think it's just about letting some of the trepidation go because I think sometimes when we think about starting anew, we think about all the starting that was difficult. We think about starting at shit that we didn't want to deal with. We think about all of that. And so I'm saying from my experience now, I'm in one of the best places I've ever been in my life. I am so busy with shows or play. People are asking me to be a part of their projects. And I am incredibly, tremendously like blessed inside. Does that mean that it's without difficulty? No. I am still dealing with things that I would rather not. And that's much to deal with capitalism. But when I think about like my actual being, the core of who I am in pursuit of the thing that has always been in my head, in my mind, which is to entertain, which is to be that person. And I'm doing that. Is it bringing me millions? Not yet. And it may never. And I'm okay with that. I could, me, I'd be singing all the goddamn time for free. Because I love it. So it's really just being like, whatever is going to come with this, I am strong enough for, I'm built for, and in the pursuit of things that I love, I'm willing, type shit.
Willing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta work on that willing. So part of beginning is being willing.
Being willing. Absolutely.
Okay. All
Absolutely. Right. Well, I guess we're kind of to the cope now. And I think I've kind of said it. I'm just grace and ease. And I think for me, it's remembering all the beginnings that created way for the great things in life. There have been some things that have happened up until this point that were not great beginnings. But they created a pathway to something better. So I think about that when I have to start again for something. I think about that and say, okay, this may be a little tough, but this could open the pathway. This could open the doorway. This could lead me to a new understanding or a new passion or a new, whatever it is. And that's how I'm coping, by just remembering all the good things that have come, even if the beginning was rough, even if it was a forced new beginning. The after has been great a lot of times. So that's how I cope.
So I guess I cope by setting an intention and staying present and not trying to think so much about the past or venturing too far into the unknown future. And believing that I will gain exactly what I need from each beginning, being willing, being open, all that jazz.
Yeah, I love that. So I think we're to the recap, and we've kind of been summing this up as we've gone, but I think the general understanding is that beginning can feel tough. But I think if you are choosing to begin again, recognizing that doesn't come without obstacles, but you are strong enough to get through them, and you will never get to the finish line if you don't start.
Oh, ouch. But dang. So is that why I keep feeling like I'm running out of time?
Probably.
Damn, because I ain't start. That's messed up.
You are a mess. Okay. Do we have any shout outs this episode?
No, I wanted to have one. I did, but you're going to have one. You don't have one?
I can make something up. I can shout out to those who have. No, I want to. Okay. I want to shout out those people who have had frequent new beginnings. For those people who are trepidatious about starting, but getting started anyway, I want to shout out to you. For those who've reached your first obstacle and finding it difficult, like, keep going. It's going to be okay eventually. Sometimes shit be hard, and that's real and that's true, but that's not the end. That's not the journey. That is a part of the journey. That is not the end. So keep going, and we'll make it through this shit together. Lean on your friends, lean on your family, lean on the support that you actually have. Hear them, believe them, lean on them, allow them to prop you up and build you till you can do it yourself. And that's the shout out for today. I do want to go ahead and get into my favorite part, which is the meditation. If you're new, we take a couple deep breaths, we set an intention, and then we let you go about your day. So what I want you to do for me is to take a big deep breath. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll we'll take one more deep breath. And now we'll set our intention. I intend to look forward to beginnings so that when it's time, I am prepared, recognizing that even if it's difficult, I have family and friends who I can lean on, and I have myself, and I am stronger than I even know. And that is my intention.
That's beautiful. Stronger than you even know. Okay, so it is my intention to just be open and willing to explore in the present moment. And that's it. Don't go too far in either direction.
I love that. That's a beautiful intention. And now we'll take our last set of breaths. Take another big deep breath. We'll take a second deep breath. We'll take our last deep breath. All right. Your intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish, sis. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
It sure is, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We are so appreciative of your continued support. Like, share, tell a friend to follow us. We would so appreciate their support as well. If you would like to get in touch with us for business, if you would like to be a guest, if you have a topic idea that you would like us to dig down, please reach out to us at itsamesssis@gmail.com. If you're more of an Instagram girl, hit us up at It's a Mess Sis Podcast on Instagram. That same can be used for Facebook. On Twitter, it's at It's a Mess. And search for us on YouTube if you'd like to see our faces while you listen. That's It's a Mess Sis ! On YouTube. Is there anything else that we need to let the people know, Rena?
I feel like yes. We have a feature. And
we do.
Yes. And the Voyager, Baltimore.
Yes.
So I will add that link to our Instagram for you guys to check out.
Yes.
Just if you want to learn a little bit more about us, how we got started. We're excited about that. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. Also, if you want us to be a guest on your podcast, we are open to that. And just collaborating in general. I know Jess mentioned, you can be a guest on ours. If you want to test us out first, we'd be a guest on yours. We can do that. So
absolutely.
That's all I have. All
right. Well, we're going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I can't sing.
It's okay. He's going to talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.